Hello everyone, now let us discuss about types of brain injuries. The brain injuries are commonly associated with head trauma and result in part from displacement and distortion of neural tissue at the moment of impact. Additional tissue damage may occur when normal blood flow is restored after a period of ischemia, that is reduced blood flow. The sudden increase in oxygen levels produces large number of oxygen-free radicals, and brain cells recovering from the effects of a stroke or cardiac arrest also release free radicals. The sudden increase in the oxygen levels due to the restored blood flow, it produces a large of oxygen free radicals. In addition to that, the brain cells that are recovering from the effects of a stroke or cardiac arrest, they also release free radicals. And these free radicals, they cause damage by disrupting the cellular DNA and enzymes and by altering the plasma membrane permeability. And in general, brain injuries are mainly of three types: concussion, contusion, and laceration. And brain injuries can also result from hypoxia, that is nothing but cellular oxygen deficiency. Hypo means less, oxia means oxygen. Cellular oxygen deficiency can also cause brain injuries. And various degrees of brain injuries are described by specific terms. As we have discussed earlier, we will be discussing what is concussion, what is contusion, and what is a laceration. First of all, coming to concussion. A concussion is an injury characterized by an abrupt but temporary loss of consciousness. Remember this point. Concussion is an injury characterized by abrupt but temporary loss of consciousness. That is from seconds to hours. Disturbance of vision and problems with equilibrium. It is caused by a blow to the head or sudden stopping of a moving head. For example, an automobile accident. And is most common type of brain injury. Concussion is a most common type of brain injury. It is characterized by abrupt and temporary loss of consciousness. Abrupt but temporary loss of consciousness. A concussion produces no obvious bruising of the brain. And signs of concussions are headache, drowsiness, nausea and vomiting, lack of concentration, confusion, or post-traumatic amnesia. That is memory loss. The next type of injury is contusion. A brain contusion is bruising due to trauma and includes the leakage of blood from microscopic vessels. It is usually associated with a concussion. Contusion is usually associated with a concussion. In contusion, the pia mater may be torn, allowing blood to enter the subarachnoid space. In a contusion, the pia mater may be torn, allowing the blood to enter the subarachnoid space. The area most commonly affected is the frontal lobe. And a contusion usually results in an immediate loss of consciousness. Contusion usually results in an immediate loss of consciousness, generally lasting no longer than 5 minutes. And loss of reflexes, transient cessation of respiration, and decreased blood pressure. Vital signs typically stabilize within few seconds after a contusion. The next type of injury is laceration. A laceration is a tear of the brain, usually from the skull fracture or gunshot wound, and it results in the rupture of large blood vessels with bleeding into brain and subarachnoid space. The consequences include cerebral hematoma, edema, and increased intracranial pressure. Cerebral hematoma is nothing but localized pool of blood, usually clotted, that swells against the brain tissue. And if the blood clot is small enough, it poses no major threat and may be absorbed. But if the blood clot is large, it may require a surgical removal. And swelling infringes on the limited space that the brain occupies in the cranial cavity, and it also causes excruciating headaches. Brain tissue can also undergo necrosis, that is nothing but cellular death, due to the swelling. If the swelling is severe enough, brain can herniate through the foramen magnum, resulting in the death. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for further videos on medical coding and CPC training.